Okay, you know me, JK, living man life in the flesh. Before I step out and go speak, a little meeting or whatever it is, I want to do, a quick little breakdown, at the moment about uh, a Delaware structure. Okay, so let's tune into what I'm talking about. Okay, I got a few, pieces of material, you know. So here we go. A Delaware structure. We're gonna use this as an imaginational company. Swiftway Inc. And if you pay attention to a lot of material, that's always my example plate that I use to draw my courses in the orchestration of control and power. So Swiftway Inc. is a Delaware structure. We gonna say an Inc. A corporation. I like to use C corps because I never know if one day I just want to go public, which I plan not to go public. I could issue preferred stocks private, and then I go public. But I just focus on the preferred shares for different accredited investors and institutional, whatever it is. That's why I like C corps and different other perks that come with it. Not the double taxation. I'm not worried about that. I understand the double taxation loophole. And right now I break it down to you. Okay. So now, if you set up the Delaware Corporation, you're gonna have to get this phone that they offer, certificate of good standing. Okay, what this do is this allow you to operate outside of Delaware, right? Because for real, the Delaware structure is really designed more for just holding assets. Really, it's not supposed to be operating outside of Delaware, but sometimes people use it for an outside vehicle and operate it inside another state. And what I mean by that, when you set a Delaware structure, it's a holding. It could be considered three things. It could be considered an investment company, a management company, or a consultant. And I'll get back down to the bottom of that too. So it's something that's set up in Delaware for the Privacy Acts, and it's based on the most important thing, anonymous, where your name don't show up. And when you set them up, they don't ask pretty much no business model. They don't ask the NASIC like most things you set up. It don't ask for none of these type of things. You know what I'm saying? And with that being said, that's the pure way to use it. It's supposed to just be a holding company that's controlling your operational company or management company, whatever it's in another state. Okay, so I'm going to break it down from this perspective. Okay, first of all, intellectual property is non-taxable. That's the Delaware loophole. That's one of the Delaware loopholes. Okay, what I mean by that, we understand it from listening to artists or being an artist. This, what they signed away, their intellectual property, they named that it was born with at birth through the straw man name, right? That's how the government is taxing everybody through the moving property, right? Because your body is a piece of property, a vehicle. So all moving property is taxed. So Delaware don't have an intellectual property tax, right? And they waive other, state tax, city tax, and all that because they want to get more business. Now, Wyoming have this structure in Nevada too, but I'm speaking right now on Delaware because that's what I'm more familiar with, and I know things can change and things constantly come up, and they're trying to, regulate and postpone. But you gotta think most of your great elites and CIAs and all these people still use Delaware, used to use Delaware. So I don't think they're gonna never really change too much. If I gonna just make a little stipulation where if you ain't really up on your shit, they can't hire the right people to do it for you, you might be in some trouble. So now let's speak on the intellectual property. So what intellectual property is saying that, okay, this Delaware corporation owns the name to this Tennessee company. Okay, you see hedge funds coming doing all type of, BlackRock. You could go on and on. They got a study case on Toys R Us, how Carolina, whenever sued them or whatever it is. And if you ever get some of my material, I got it all wrote out for you to really have a better understanding and an overstanding of it. So what it do is, let's use a basic analyst. Okay, let's use a basic, simple, concept. Let's say your company making about $100,000 a year. Okay, you have to pay taxes on this money, right? So you saying that before you can pay taxes on this $100,000, you saying that your Delaware holding company is actually already as the parent company that owns intellectual property, like royalty fees, like franchise from a McDonald's. So that means you got to spend $95,000 to your holding company, because that was just cause for saying that my operation company in Tennessee, Louisiana, or Georgia is owned by this Delaware structure. And this happened a lot. Lawmakers was kind of angry about it because in Pennsylvania, saw a lot of their companies was switched over and was re-amended back and owned by Delaware. So you can check it out. I got a lot of facts on it too. So anyway, let's get back into it. So now your operation estate address, VA, What is a V8, y'all? You know, a virtual assistance. A virtual address. So a virtual address is very vital to anything you incorporate from your state to your tax shelter or your offshore, whatever it may be. You need to get your virtual address first. That's why I had to pay not a lot of money, but the time, right? So you want to, before you even set this Delaware baby up, if I was you, not legal advice, get your state, okay, that you're going to be operating on, that's going to be transferred money, dividends, whatever, back to your Delaware holding, your virtual address, right? Now, what your virtual address do, it give your presence in that state this address, right? So what you're going to file is that you got your certificate of good standing, is you're going to file a foreign entity filing with your state, which is Secretary of State, whatever state you're in. When you register your business back in that state, now this Delaware company can do business outside of Delaware in this state. And the great thing about Delaware is recognized in all countries, in a lot of countries, I'm gonna say, around the world. So when you set it up, you actually put yourself on a playing field where you could do business on a bigger scale. So like I say, Paper Circle, we not internationally known, but we internationally grown. So we can set an offshore account out from Delaware and do business with Hong Kong and China and all these other foreign lands per se. So when you look at it, each state is a foreign entity to another state. So that's why it's a foreign entity. They got other terms to use. So you're going to set this. So now you can do business in that state. So if you from Louisiana or whatever state you from, like myself, now your business is registered under the state with your virtual address and your principal address and things of that nature. Now, let me tell you this. Yearly, Delaware, people say it's expensive, so you ain't trying to make millions of dollars, make no sense to deal with this, or, and you stay anonymous too. That's the big. So they charge like between $275, $300 a year for franchise tax. So they saying, okay, instead of you paying direct income tax, you pay Delaware this franchise tax. Now, this could range, when your company be a public trade company, start making millions of dollars, billions of dollars per se, then it could be up to $200,000 a year, which ain't bad because you still is, in a great, tax structure, tax strategy that you could use, right? So that's why mostly all your big corporations are formed out of Delaware, all the way back from the Disney and all these things and tech companies. They got one spike of YouTube, but it got like, I forgot, 100 and some thousand. It's so many thousand people resident in small business in Delaware, and they all big, tech companies, modern companies, everything. So that is the loophole of Delaware. And what I had to do is I had to look at Google, I had to look at Robert Smith, private equity firm. I had to look at all these structures and notice that they all had Delaware structures, but I was missing one piece. I was missing the principal address, which was the the foreign entity, meaning like, look at Google or Alphabet. It's a Delaware structure, but it's going to have Cali address, the principal, because now it could be two entities, but the thing is, it got its holdings is out of Delaware. So now it's coming as a public traded company. It's not looked at directly like a normal company. You understand? Then they got its principal address. So now when you do this, you go your operational state address. You got this. You go get this right in the meantime while you setting up your Delaware corporation. Then you go file your foreign entity, file it with your Secretary of State. Like I said, this come after you set the Delaware corporation up, or if you want to do an LLC. LLCs are really good for Wyoming and a lot of e-commerce business, and also with a lot of crypto systems that you're trying to create, like the blockchain system and things of that nature. Then you'll get an EIN number or tax ID. And a lot of times we realize the EIN and the tax ID number are really two different phones, right? So you're going to get the EIN for a more simple conversation right now we're speaking of. EIN for banking purposes, right? So when you set this company up, you may be, your company is paying Delaware Holdings, whatever it is. Because like I say, when you sit, and this how it works. This Swiftway Inc. Delaware company, right? So right here, this the IP. What IP is? Intellectual property. So this company owns what? The trademark, which could be the name. It could be getting royalties from doomsday. It's doomsday right now because now you doomed. You didn't doom to get regulated. You didn't disappear. So this company is owned by the Delaware Corporation, right? So that means now it can either be an LLC or Inc., which is a C Corp or S Corp, and they got a virtual address, principal address, and they just use Louisiana, Tennessee, Georgia, them three states that I know people that's doing the same that I'm doing, and set things up and move and how they supposed to move in the private, anonymous, things of that nature. So with that being said, you set it up, you would see that your structure may be an investment, company, a management company, or a consulting company, and so far so on. But it's really, to make it simple, it's a holding company. It's supposed to be holding the assets. It's not supposed to be operating outside like sometimes people do, but it's different ways to get around it. So that's the basic of what a Delaware structure is. And if you check out some material, you get ready, you know, I got stuff. Once you get past retail thinking, I got this course. It's called Outside of Retail and Sales. It's pretty much assets analyst, assets management, alternative investment, value in companies, investment and management. And inside this course, you know, I have different have a real beautiful breakdown, how I break things down. I could take it to the most, you know, simple, man. So it's really a portfolio building, a hedge strategy, because, you know, we have a hedge fund company too. You see that? Let me make sure you see it's a portfolio building, a hedge strategy. So with this being said, you know, I'm showing you from example like short position, long position, diversity. And, you know, you probably familiar with this, the orchestration for control and power, anonymous wealth strategies, anonymous wealth guide, you know, by, you know, my name right here, self-love, you know, self-wealth, self-funded, and self-secure. And, you know, most powerful man in the world, you know, way back 2013 somewhere, you know, I was drinking my own coffee, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, like, think big like a hedge fund. So we gotta always think big, you know. And this book is a very powerful book, I must say. And it'll be available, you know, when I get around to, you know, shooting it out. So today I want to just talk about what, you know, wealthification, a Delaware structure. And I like for y'all to tune into me, because now I'm going to be doing a lot of these live courses like this that got a better background, different form, you know, where I was at in university, had a lot of noise going on. I was doing the best I can from where I was at. But now you can see I got a clean cut, you know, I am, you know, free now and things of that nature. And I'm ready to give out this knowledge. And, you know, also, you know, I'm not going to say I'm giving it because it costs, you know what I'm saying? And I paid the cost to be the boss. And I almost talk on them terms, but, you know, I paid the cost and things like that. So I'm going to give you a basic breakdown of how Delaware structure operate from the outline, not the in-depth side. This is the outline. So you have an idea you want to do a Delaware corporation for some strange reason for to stay anonymous. That's what I should have showed you in my other course. But, you know, right here, you know, we doing my first initial thing. It's on paper circle, introduction, elaboration. And like I show people, you know, this has never been, you know, exposed, you know, management, acquisition and distribution, real pretty, you know. And, you know, it represents my culture, you know, if you want to look at it from that perspective and things of that nature. But we're here, man. So we'll be with you. We'll be in and out with you. So thanks a lot. I see you, you know what I'm saying? And we'll be getting together one-on-ones and things like that. Paper Circle, still a movement. Paper Circle Group. It's the whole Paper Circle Investment. It's the management, portfolio management company, Wealthification Online University, Buck Cup Coffee, the research and development company. Sometimes it still can advise you on different product development, things like that. Hey, your guy JK, you know what I'm saying? The coffee man, the coffee king, whatever you want to say, whatever you may know me from. You know, I have multiple names for multiple purposes. So don't forget to, you know, subscribe to wealthification.org and check out these courses that's about to be coming through the channels live later.